Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have a book haul for you all. I have not one but two of these boxes. All of the books that I've purchased are from The Works, and I will link you to the website in the description if you want to check them out. I have recently been getting back into reading and exploring a lot of different books and genres and authors, and just falling back in love with reading and stories. I've also discovered something on TikTok called Book Talk, where people share and talk about books, and if you like reading, it is amazing. I am not the best at reading, but I love stories, I love imagination, so I've wanted to kind of get back into reading. I just want to show you all the books that I got and talk a little bit about them. If there are any book reviews you want me to do on any of these books, please do let me know, and I can definitely do that once I have read these. The Works is brilliant if you want books at an affordable price. It is amazing, and I definitely have got quite a lot here. So we'll start with this book. I have actually started reading a couple pages of this book. This is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is, I believe, her first supernatural-based romance book. Typically, she's done STEM romance, and I really wanted to try this because it is about werewolves and vampires, and I thought it could be a really cool dynamic. Now, I've read a couple of pages of this. I'm not loving it yet. It might be like it's going to take a while for me to get invested, but I'm not finding this super easy to read. This is definitely not a juvenile story, but I'm not in love with this yet. So hopefully I will end up liking that, but our first impressions, don't love it. I then picked up this series, and this series is a whole retelling of Disney, Twisted Disney. So we have Crossed, we have Twisted, we have Wretched, we have Scarred, and we have Hooked. These are all standalone books. You can read them in any order, which I love. I like series, but I also love when there's a standalone book. And I love the fact that this is a dystopian kind of dark telling of Disney. It's inspired by Disney. The stories follow the villains. So there's a lot more depth going on to these. And like I said, I love the fact they're standalone books. So I'm excited to give these a go. And I like the whole premise of a dark Disney retelling. I think it'll be quite interesting. So I got them. Moving on to my second box, I picked up this. This is Breakaway by Grace Riley. This is a hockey kind of romance. So we've got our main characters. He is a hockey player. He falls in love with the coach's daughter. Again, I've not read it, but I like this premise, kind of a forbidden love. And it seems like this will be quite an easy read, which I like. We then have a series, which excites me greatly. So we have The Filthy Rich Vampire. Love vampires, love supernatural. This is 100% my vibe. So I at first actually picked up just the first book, and this was in The Works on an offer for 3 for 6. I later found out, and I think actually at the time of purchase, these other books weren't released because this has been a collective haul and amalgamation over time. But turns out this book is part of a series. And because if there's a series, I want to buy the whole series because I don't like semi-committing. I picked up the other 3 books that were in 3 for 6. So we have Filthy Rich Vampire, just the first one. We then have the second one, which is Filthy Rich Vampire, Second Right. We have the third one, Filthy Rich Vampire, Three Queens. And then the last one, Filthy Rich Vampire for Eternity. So, love the fact that I've got that. I've heard this is almost like a spicy version of Twilight kind of vibe, so I'm excited for that. I then picked up this one. This is Wildfire, and what drew me into this actually initially is the main female character. It's called Aurora also, which I thought was quite interesting. I think it will be an easy read and a nice evening read when you don't want something that's maybe as heavy, or you don't want something that's supernatural. This might have a little bit more realism in it perhaps. Got this one, which is Mr. Hockey. It is a bookworm and a hockey player romance. Like that narrative, like that kind of dynamic, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. This is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. Kind of a Frankenstein dynamic with a female character. Gauging off of the title, she might be creating her perfect partner. So I think this will be quite comical. Kind of has a bit of a different narrative. I'm excited to give this a go. I think this is quite an interesting spin on that Frankenstein portrayal. We then have this, which is Down and Dusted. This is a best friend brothers kind of romance. I heard about this through TikTok. Again, the whole premise seems like this will be a nice read, and I'm looking forward to that. We have the series by Eliza Silver. Now, I have forgotten the order that these go in, so I'm just going to show you them, and someone can correct me in the comments on the order they go in. I picked these up because I thought the premise of them was quite interesting. Again, they are a romance kind of a based book. I believe each book does stand alone, so you can read them in any order that you want, which is quite good, but they are also part of a series, so they are interconnected. Heartless, Powerless, Flawless, Hopeless, and Reckless. So 5 books in that series, and I think again they will be quite nice reads. Like I've already said, if there is a book that's in a series, I like to buy the whole series before I read the book, because I don't know, I don't like to read one book and then not be able to access the other books. I like to have the whole series, which again can be a bit risky. If you don't like a book, then you have like 6 of the books, but that's how I do it. We then have 3 more books, and these are actually the books I'm most excited for. I have actually started reading one, but I will talk about the books, show you them, and then I'll tell you what I've thought so far of reading them. So we have the Lauren Roberts Powerless, we have Lauren Roberts Powerful, and then the recent edition is Lauren Roberts Reckless. So these books are really good from what I've read. I've started reading this one. I am already on chapter 2 or 3. I really like this. So these books follow, well, this one follows Payton. She is in a society where everyone has superpowers, certain abilities. There has been a plague, and the plague has left people with supernatural powers. She does not have any powers. She's a normal person, and the people who are normal are cast out. She has to pretend she has powers so that she can enter this kingdom, because everyone in the kingdom does have powers because of a plague that has happened. It's meant people have powers. So I'm only on chapter 2, but I'm really liking this dynamic. Then we have this one, which is Powerful, and the edges are absolutely gorgeous. So this book you can read before this one, or after this one, or during. It depends how you want to. But this book follows Adina, who is Pagan's best friend, and it follows her story while Payton is in the trials. Within this book also, Payton saves a prince, and because of that, some things happen, and she has to enter a trial where it's kind of a bit similar to the Hunger Games. And they again are assuming she has superpowers. They're assuming she's a psychic. That's the power she pretends to have that she doesn't actually have. So while that's going on, this book follows her best friend and her kind of response and experience within that. Then the most recent one is Reckless. This is after this book. You could probably read these in any order, but if you're wanting a structure, I would read maybe these 2 alongside each other, then read this one. Now this is Reckless, and this, reading the description, is the aftermath after Payton has left the trials. There's been an uprising in the kingdom where a lot of people are not very happy about what's going on, about the fact that the kingdom is only exclusively for people who have powers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. There is also a romance going on alongside this between Kai and Payton. So again, be interesting to see how it plays out in this one. These 2 ones, off a first impression, seems like there's more of a romance going on. This one doesn't feel like there's going to be as strong as a romance. There are a lot of elements going on within these books. Based off of what I've read so far, this is really good. There is a lot of description. It's quite an easy read. It's an enjoyable read. And the world they describe is set really well. The world of Iliad, which is where the story is based, has a lot of detail, a lot of description, and it seems very much like it's alive. I'm really enjoying this and think I'll get on really well with this series. So they were all of the books that I got. There is a big fat pile of books now on my lap. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. If you want me to do any reviews on these books once I've read them, please let me know. Looking forward to reading all the rest of these. So I'll speak to you all in my next video. So until then, goodbye guys.